So, what happens when one person's powerful belief in community becomes, well, a literal blueprint? We're about to explore the incredible story of how a neighborhood wasn't just changed, it was truly built from the ground up, right in the heart of an American city.
You know, we've all heard that saying, it takes a village. It's this beautiful idea about how we all have a part to play. But what happens when someone takes that not just as a nice motto, but as a genuine plan for their life's work? That simple phrase, right there, is the key to a story of unbelievable transformation.
And this is the woman at the very center of it all, Hyacinth Yennie. For decades, she has been this absolute powerhouse of civic engagement, grassroots action, and just pure community pride in Hartford's South End.
So how does a philosophy like that actually turn into action? I mean, where does it even start? Well, it starts with a foundation. Let's dig into the roots of this Hartford village to really understand how it all got started.
See, this idea of mutual support, it wasn't something she learned from a book. It was how she lived. Growing up in this really close-knit community in Jamaica, helping your neighbors was just what you did. So when she came to the U.S., she didn't just pack her bags. She brought that core value with her, and it became the bedrock for everything she would do next.
Every big community change has to start somewhere, right? For Hyacinth, that first step, that first little ripple in the pond was all about the next generation. She saw a need with the youngest, most vulnerable people in her community, the kids.
She noticed this really critical gap in the day. You know, the school bell rings, and suddenly kids are out there with nothing to do and not a lot of positive places to go. So that simple, urgent question, where are our kids going? That became her first call to action. And, you know, getting frustrated because the local institutions weren't doing much, Hyacinth and a bunch of other parents who felt the same way came to this really powerful realization. They couldn't just wait for a solution. They had to be the solution. If they wanted things to change, they were going to have to do it themselves.
And their response was just incredible because they tackled the problem from two different angles at once. First, they co-founded OpMad, bringing amazing programs like martial arts and music right into the schools. And at the same time, they started the South End Night Riders, a mentorship program that literally began in a church basement and grew into this huge citywide force for good.
But honestly, her work with kids was just the beginning. That early success created this momentum, and her focus just naturally grew from helping the next generation to strengthening the entire community. What's just so remarkable is the sheer consistency. This wasn't some short-term thing. Just look at this timeline. It starts with her family business way back in '76. Then in '98, boom, she co-founds OMAD. By 2002, she's leading a massive revitalization group. And then in 2007, she's founding a wellness center for seniors. This is a picture of relentless, lifelong dedication.
So how did she manage all of this for so long? This quote right here, it's her secret weapon. For Hyacinth, making progress wasn't about being the loudest person in the room. It was about building the strongest connections.
And she put that idea into practice everywhere she went. Whether she was president of Hartford Areas Rally Together, or HART, or chair of the Maple Avenue Revitalization Group, her main job was to be a bridge, connecting neighbors with each other and connecting the whole community to the institutions that were supposed to serve them.
And this whole collaborative approach got real results. We're not just talking about meetings. We're talking about getting major funding for school renovations, making streets safer, and creating these awesome community events that brought hundreds of people together year after year.
I love this quote because it just perfectly captures her style. It wasn't about making aggressive demands. She calls herself the queen of the nudge, a master of being persistent, strategic, and just effective at getting things done for her community.
See, her idea of a village was never limited. It wasn't just for kids or just for business owners. No, it was for everybody. And this next part of her story really shows just how big and inclusive that vision was. So just like she saw that need with the youth, Hyacinth soon spotted another group that was struggling. She saw elderly residents who were getting more and more isolated. And at the exact same time, the city services they really depended on were being threatened. And you guessed it, she didn't wait around for somebody else to fix it. She saw this double crisis of loneliness and budget cuts, and she knew she had to do something to protect the seniors in her village. And boy, did she act. She was a key part of founding the South End Wellness Senior Center, turning this old, forgotten building into a place buzzing with life. And when budget cuts threatened to shut it down years later, she stood her ground, famously declaring,
There's nothing more to cut. She absolutely refused to let her community's elders be forgotten.
This right here perfectly illustrates her whole strategy. When faced with something terrifying like rising gun violence, her response wasn't just to fight the problem, it was to overwhelm it with something positive. She answered a crisis by building even more community.
And the impact? It's just staggering. The Berry Square Community Day became this huge annual event, pulling in over 1,000 people to celebrate being together, to get health screenings, and to just have fun, safely. It was this direct, powerful message that the community was so much stronger than the violence trying to tear it apart.
So when you add it all up, the youth programs, the revitalized streets, the senior center, all these community events, what's the real, lasting legacy of a life lived like this?
Well, for one thing, the work never stops. To this day, she is an absolutely unstoppable force for good. Her leadership is still felt all over the city. In everything from housing and education to public safety, her commitment is literally woven into the fabric of Hartford. And at the end of the day, it all comes back to this one beautiful, simple idea. It's not about one person being some kind of hero. It's about one person empowering thousands of other people to realize that they, too, can be a part of making a difference.
So, what does it take to build a village? Hyacinth Yennie's story basically gives us the blueprint. It's persistence when nobody else is acting, a deep belief in the power of human connection, and an unwavering faith that a better community is always possible. Her legacy isn't just in the buildings she saved or the programs she launched. It's a challenge, really, to all of us, and it leaves us with one final question. What's the first step we can take to start building a village right where we are?